Imagine a guy named Job, who is not just rich, but also has this incredible integrity. His journey is like a roller coaster, showcasing his true character while everyone around him gets lost in idol worship and unfairness. It's a wild backdrop against which his story unfolds. As the tale goes, there's this epic showdown in the spiritual world. God himself knows Job is a faithful dude, so much so that he gets into a cosmic debate about what real faith looks like, especially when life goes haywire. It's like a celestial reality show about suffering. Now picture this. When disaster strikes, instead of throwing a pity party, Job worships. Yeah, straight up. In the midst of all that grief, he gets that life isn't permanent and keeps his faith locked in. That's some serious wisdom right there. And then there's this moment with Job and his wife. She's super down about everything happening, and Job, in his wisdom, raises a question that hits hard. Should we only take the good stuff from God? This is where his rock-solid faith really shines, reminding us all of some deep truths. When Job's friends show up, they don't say a word for 7 whole days. Silence speaks volumes, right? Their quiet presence is powerful, showing just how deep Job's grief runs. Sometimes, you don't need words. Just being there makes a difference. Job gets real poetic, comparing life to a labor's grind. It hits home for everyone. He paints a picture of those everyday struggles we all face. It's like he's turning his pain into a relatable narrative that resonates with all of us. But then Zophar, one of his buddies, tries to define God's wisdom. He's like, dude, we can't even comprehend how vast God's knowledge is. It's a heavy moment that reminds us just how tricky it can be to figure out divine stuff. And then there's Job, watching nature and making these epic observations. It's like he sees God's power in everything around him, from the tiniest flower to the mightiest storm. He's all about recognizing that even in the simplest things, God's greatness shines bright. But Job's friends just don't get it. When Job throws some sarcasm their way, it's like he's had enough of their simplistic views on suffering. He desires something real, a heartfelt convo with God. It's such a relatable moment, showing we all crave sincerity over cliches. Then Job really lays it all out. He talks about feeling like he's under attack, both physically and emotionally. Surrounded by relentless foes, he holds tight to the idea that there's divine justice somewhere amidst this chaos. That hope is what keeps him going. And then his friends, especially Bildad, hit hard with some brutal truths, pushing Job to the edge. It's tough love, but that makes him question everything about integrity and friendship in times like these. It's messy and complicated, just like real life. In one of his heart-wrenching laments, Job lays bare his feelings of being totally abandoned. It cuts deep. He feels isolated from his friends and family, and this raw honesty paints a vivid picture of his desperation and yearning for connection. Then Eliphaz jumps in, urging Job to repent, saying that if he cleans up his act, he'd find restoration. It's all about faith and obedience, making us ponder how much of our world hinges on just that, staying true to what we believe even when it's tough. Job, determined as ever, wants to find God and plead his case. He's so confident in his integrity despite all the chaos around him. This determination to seek answers boosts his spirit, showing us how important it is to stand firm even when the world feels upside down. As Job critiques all the social injustices he sees, he becomes like a voice for the voiceless. He calls out the exploitation of the weak and challenges his friends' simple views on justice. It's like he's shining a light on the deeper issues at hand. He also reminisces about his glory days, when life was good and he felt invincible. Those memories stand in stark contrast to his current suffering, making us all reflect on how quickly things can change in life. Job's pain is raw and real, with vivid descriptions of how it feels to be in agony. It's not just physical, it's emotional too. He feels mocked and rejected, like society has turned its back on him. It's heartbreaking, but so relatable. Yet, through it all, Job stays true to his moral compass. He stands up for justice and fairness, making sure his character shines even in tough times. It's like he's a beacon of hope, reminding us to hold onto our values no matter the circumstances. He makes a big point about how divine justice is unshakable. God rewards everyone based on their actions, and Job's passionate defense of morality pushes us to think about accountability in our lives. Then comes Yellow with some deep thoughts about God's silence during tough times. He suggests that it's all part of a bigger plan to strengthen faith. This perspective provides some comfort, reminding us that sometimes silence speaks louder than words. And when Job describes the might of nature, especially storms, he's painting a picture of God's control and majesty in the universe. It's a reminder that while life feels overwhelming, there's greatness in the chaos, nudging us to respect our limitations. Then we meet Behemoth and Leviathan, creatures of unimaginable strength, and through them, we see God's creative power on full display. They symbolize might and invincibility, grounding the narrative in divine awe. As Job comes to terms with God's limitless power, he undergoes a transformation. It's like flipping a switch from doubt to reverence. He's gained a deeper understanding of divine wisdom, showing us that sometimes faith grows through struggle. Finally, Job's comeback is about more than just getting his stuff back. He gains material wealth and family blessings, with his daughters receiving their rightful inheritance. This finale shines a light on themes of justice and generosity, leaving us with a sense of hope and redemption.